Welcome to Church Jams Now.
Church Jams Now.
That's right, the podcast where former youth group kids and current music nerds do a deep dive on Christian music from the 90s and 2000s. Guys, I'm sorry I sound so excited. I was just very excited that I got it right.
You nailed it, man.
I could feel it. I could feel it coming. And then I think I actually ruined it because I sounded
I loved
real
it.
intense.
I loved it.
I was like, but every time I've like messed it up. So I did it right. So I am one of your hosts, Kylan Savage. And with me, as always, are Mr. TJ Smith.
Hey, what's up?
And our beautiful producer, Josh Olson.
How's it going, everybody?
Hey, if we sound a little punchy, it's because we have recorded another episode tonight and it went very, very, very long. Yeah.
We're rolling, man.
And this is just the beginning we have a whole schedule of stuff coming out, and we've got some very long recording nights coming up.
Don't remind me.
We are coming back hard. So if we get a little weird, that's why we love you,
Part
baby.
of the charm.
You understand
Part
why?
of the charm.
We love you,
That's
baby.
right.
So you know what? I'm gonna hand it over to our beautiful producer Josh to tell us what's our deal. What are we doing?
Well, I've started a trend, I guess, where I'm picking records that are not in the 90s and 2000s. So we're going to continue that trend. But we're going to be talking about Anberlin's new EP called Silverline, which was released July 29th of 2022. So we did this with the new 5-Iron record.
5-Iron Frenzy,
new
right.
at the time in early 2021 when they dropped the new record. We just decided,
Josh,
hey,
were you officially part of the podcast when we did
I
that?
was, and I think that was the only one I actually recorded as officially part of the podcast, because you guys had
Yeah.
already done the Sixpence one, and then you guys
Right.
did Alien Youth and The Chariot.
And then we took that big long break.
Yeah, so that was like my only one, like being.
Right. It's funny
officially
because
involved.
still in my brain, I just associate our sort of reboot as Volume 8 as Cities by Anberlin. But I always forget about the 5-Iron. We did 2 episodes
Yeah.
on the new 5-Iron
Yes.
record.
Yes,
so-
we did. Yeah, Volume
Yeah.
5. Check it out. So that was kind of a new thing, and I don't know. I feel like we'll just do that whenever the moment strikes and we feel like covering.
Yeah, if it's like someone that we've covered before and they do something new.
And this is a
staying
big
relevant.
deal because Anberlin released their last album in 2014, and then they went on a hiatus. And they, at the time of that hiatus, they were declaring it as a farewell tour, and they were pretty adamant about never coming back.
Which everyone does now.
Yes.
Which we've talked
They
about that
were
before.
so adamant about it, which was like, guys, you don't need to be, but they
Right.
were. So
Just say like we're taking a break.
yeah, but it's a big deal because they came back and then they started touring again. But this is the first thing that they've released since Lowborn, and I'm a little upset about this. That this EP was released on July 29th, 2022. It was released 8 years and 1 week after Lowborn. If they would have released it a week earlier, it would have been 8 years to the day
8 years to the
from
day.
their last record to their new EP. But they waited a week.
Leave it to the beautiful producer to be a
Vinyl
stickler about the
production
dates.
is so backed up now. It's not like they were waiting for the records because they're not getting their vinyl for months. Like, I don't understand why not just drop it and be 8 years on the mark, but they did. So, anyways, it's a pretty short EP. It's 5 songs, so we thought it'd be fun to talk about them. They were
We thought it'd be fun.
we thought it'd be fun, and then we got way deep into an episode, and now it's super late, but we're going for it anyways. Because I don't know
I'm
about
here.
y'all, I only got stronger in the weeks we were off.
Oh, right.
I'm ready.
Josh
to
is
go.
ready to go till 1
I
in the
wish I could
morning.
relate to that.
Okay, let's just do it. Okay, I first want to talk about this is their first release on Equal Vision Records.
Yes.
I think that's pretty cool. Equal Vision has always been a really interesting label to me.
Why is that?
Well, they've had a lot of bands that I like really love, like the kind of like emo post-hardcore bands that I love. I mean, like Saves the Day has been on there, and they seem to like. This is a weird comparison, but sometimes to me, with some of the bands that I was really stoked about, like in high school, they kind of dropped off. Equal Vision seems to me a little bit of like the Quentin Tarantino of like the way that he took like Pam Grier and John Travolta and sort of revitalized their careers.
Sure.
They take those bands that are like a little bit older, a little bit kind of fallen off and dust them off and make shiny new records to like
Like,
bring
no,
to
you're
a
still
whole
good.
new. Yeah,
Keep
exactly. So I think
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Like there's a lot of bands on Equal Vision that I've really enjoyed.
Well, and what's interesting about that is that bands that have come back that have been former Tooth and Nail bands have signed to Equal Vision. They
Right.
signed the Juliana Theory. They came back. They were on Tooth and Nail back in the day. They came back. They're on Equal Vision now. When As Cities Burn did their record in 2019, when they came back, they signed to Equal Vision.
Okay.
And Emery just recently re-signed with Tooth and Nail after being
Right.
independent for a
Yeah,
number
yeah.
of years, but they said that they almost signed with Equal Vision.
Yeah,
They
so
have
I'm
something
wondering
going for them
there's
in
some
that
kind of
capacity.
ethos there that I feel like a lot of these bands that kind of like, especially in the mid 2000s, like after being on like Tooth and Nail or even like Universal or something like
Like
that,
specifically like the edgy Christian post-hardcore.
went like super indie DIY.
Uh-huh.
People started like Patreons and stuff like that, and now a lot of these bands are kind of going back to labels. So like, I'm really curious
Yeah, that's
about the
cool.
sort of like the details of what some of these new contracts look like. Because because of streaming and everything, the record industry has changed so completely. But it seems like Equal Vision has something that a lot of these bands are looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
That's
there,
cool.
there have been so many good bands on Equal Vision. Deer in the Headlights, one of my favorite bands of all time. Bear versus Shark.
That's a fun one.
Say Anything. Say Anything was on
Oh,
Equal Vision
yeah,
for a
they
little bit.
were.
What Isley was on Equal Vision for a little bit, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they
Yeah.
were.
Right on.
Dustin Kensrue, I think is
For his
solo.
like first solo,
Okay.
I think, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe his first
Yep.
two solos.
Sound of Animals Fighting. Oh, you guys remember Sound of Animals Fighting? I could do this all day. Gatsby's American Dream. I guess I couldn't do it all day because there's a limited number of bands.
You'd
You
run
go
out
really
eventually.
slowly, you could go all day.
Scary Kids, Scaring Kids, Two Tongues,
Oh.
Chiodos.
Yeah.
Cinematic Sunrise. Wasn't that the Chiodos guy? Wasn't that his other side project besides Sound of Animals Fighting? That was like his acoustic thing.
That
I was
Craig
only
Owens? Is that his
barely
name?
aware.
Craig
of
Owens,
the
yeah.
Chiodos.
I think I remember seeing them on MySpace.
Nice.
Portugal the Man used to be on there.
Oh,
Converge.
wow.
Oh,
Hit
really?
it big.
Yeah, it says on their Wikipedia, it's like past bands. Portugal the Man, active with Atlantic Records. It's like, yeah.
Ouch.
We know.
Ouch.
All right, we ready to jump right into it?
Let's go for it.
Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Let's talk about the album art.
Yes.
I hate it. It's the worst. It's the worst album art of the year. Hands down. It's so
Is it-
stupid.
Is
It's
it
the
just
worst.
me, or is it a little like insinuous?
Okay, this is what I wanted to talk to you guys about.
Kind of is.
What do you see? It's like, because it's abstract, right? And I
don't
wanted
wanna
to know.
say.
I wanted to, well, no, you have to say, because I can't be
No.
the only horny one on the podcast. Because, like, I felt like when I saw it, I was like, I'm sure, like, and I was talking to my wife about that, and I was like, I'm gonna ask them kind of what they think, and she's like, well, Josh probably knows what it's supposed to be because he's Josh, and I was like, it's like real Freudian, like I'm real horny looking at it. Not to say that it makes me horny. I'm just saying that my interpretation of it,
It sounds very Freudian. Okay. Yes.
right?
it-
Okay, so what do you guys see? Please tell me. I'm not alone. TJ, what do you see? You gotta tell me.
I mean, there's like a buff dude with his shirt off.
Yes,
And
okay.
he's got like long hair, and then
Yes,
there's
it's like a
maybe
romance cover, right?
like a female body sort of laid on top of his. I don't know.
Yes, where she's
It's
like looking
weird.
up and kissing, and he's got like his like pecs and his strong arms, and it looks like a
and maybe
romance
his
novel.
arm around her, like in
Yes.
like a consensual
She's got long hair and,
embrace.
and ribbons.
I would hope.
Okay, so I'm not the only horny one. Josh is gonna tell us it's like, oh no, it's meant to be the signal pattern from a 1957 Fender amp into a
I
compressor
hope
or
so.
something.
Please tell me that.
No, I would have
Josh.
recognized that first. Okay, I don't have anything concrete. I just had speculation or like what people have said.
Okay.
Someone said that it is a picture of like a flame and has like some effects on it and stuff like that. So, and I could kind of see that. Maybe.
Have you ever seen flames in your life?
I don't know.
These are the horniest flames
Does
I've
a
ever seen.
flame have like a peck and like a?
There's a pronounced nipple and
There's a
flame.
nipple
Right.
there, like.
Hashtag nipple flame. We didn't talk about poop, but we talked about nipples.
Yes, we did.
No.
But then I've also heard that it's an AI generated artwork.
Of course it is.
I
That's
don't
some
know
bullshit
if
I
that
hate
actually
that.
is, but so I don't know. Those are the best things that I've heard, but
Like, is Anberlin going
it's
like
not great.
Like
I hate it.
sexual
But-
almost? I don't.
Okay, Anberlin's always like worked with Jordan Butcher, who does great artwork, and
Right.
this is not a Jordan Butcher level of artwork. So I have no idea.
I hate it. I hate everything about it.
Nate the drummer's real artsy, so maybe he's like, in the time that we've been off, I got real into
what?
art. So
It does feel
maybe-
like you saying like AI generated art. It's got that kind of vibe.
yeah.
Is it weird that it makes me think of
Fabio.
Prometheus?
No,
It's got
it's
that
not.
kind of color
Yeah.
scheme, and
You know?
the Alien franchise has some
Exactly.
inherent horniness
Yes,
too underneath
thank
the
you.
surface. There's some like Geiger phallic
Yeah,
horniness.
it's like Ridley Scott's Wet Dream.
Yeah. I could talk about sexual themes in movies all day, but let's move on to track number 1, Two Graves.
What a segue.
I have a question. Do you guys want my honest thoughts? Or do
Give
we
it.
want to talk about it a little bit and then I'll
No,
give my...
no, just
Oh no, go for it.
I love the intro. This was probably my favorite Thrice B-side I've ever heard.
What era thrice?
so good.
I mean, like, what's the one with the mountains? After Major
To be
Minor.
everywhere.
Yeah. I don't like his voice for this kind of music. I like this kind of music. It feels real heavy. It's pretty cool. The whole time
It's
I just
so
wish
heavy.
I wish it was Dustin Kensrue singing it.
Man, I'd be down for that.
He does this kind of yelly thing throughout a lot of it, which
Mm-hmm.
works better. The overblown drums are super rad. The kind of like glitchy, like super gated drums.
Mm-hmm.
But let's listen to this and think of Dustin Kensrue. It'd be so good. It'd be so good. I was kind of bored with Stephen Christian singing it.
This is something that I felt about this track and track 5. His vocal stylings on this type of music is a very weird combination. I don't know how I feel about it. It leaves me very unsettled.
Right.
It's not bad. Like I can't establish an opinion. I'm just
Right.
very unsettled about the whole thing. It's not
Spoiler alert. This is my favorite song on the EP.
Oh no. Oh.
It also there were almost like metal moments that reminded me of like
Thrice.
like
Dustin
like
Kensrue?
almost like Under Oath, like
Right.
softened Under Oath.
Uh-huh.
It's that Florida
I
sound.
love this
Like
kind of
clean
music.
Vox
Yeah.
instead of like
Josh,
low
hit us with what you
growls
got.
and
Man,
yells.
yeah, I wasn't really feeling this one too much either. They released this as a single back in 2021, and I like Heavy Anberlin. There have been heavy songs that they've done in the past that I really enjoy, especially on like Vital in 2012. But this one, I wasn't terribly taken in with it. It's grown on me a little bit more. As a single, I didn't really care. Now that in context of the EP, I like it a little bit more. But I like when it gets to the bridge. That's where I think things get really cool. I think that probably that fits Steven's voice better of kind of bringing things down. It can have a little more sonic fun stuff happening. I do like that on this song and a couple songs on the record, they have Christian, their rhythm guitarist, singing, which I don't know if I'm misremembering, but I can't really remember a time on the record where I've heard him singing. Obviously,
yeah.
he does a lot of vocal parts live of backing up Steven and doing trade-offs and stuff like that. But this was, I think, the first time, at least that I could remember being like, oh, that's Christian actually singing on a record. That's cool.
Right.
So I like having that dynamic in there.
I actually do think this song is really good. I do think it would be way better if it was a Thrice song, but that doesn't take away from the song. It's really
I would like
good.
to hear that.
Right? Like just his melodies and stuff too just felt very reminiscent of Thrice, and the kind of breakdown, like it feels weird for Anberlin to like get this kind of heavy. Not that they don't
Yeah.
get heavy, but this specific kind of heavy felt weird, but I was here for it.
I do love how he pushes his voice. We talked about that in our cities episode that we always keyed in on.
Anytime he does like his yelly thing, yeah,
and he does it
it.
at the end, and obviously I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. You ready to move on to track number 2? Nothing Lost. This feels like classic Anberlin. It feels a little more the Anberlin that I know.
That's exactly what I wrote about this song, and that's literally all I wrote about this song.
Dude, I wrote this feels like classic Anberlin. I'm a little bored.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I just like it's hard. I fully recognize this, and I recognize and part of I'm not trying to be an asshole, and I know I'm kind of tired because we've been talking for a really long time.
Go on.
It's hard when you're a band for a long time. Wait, no. I'm being completely serious here.
No, I just love that intro.
It's hard to find that balance of like continuing like keeping the kind of sound that your initial fans were drawn to, while appealing to a wider audience and grabbing more fans, and also just from a creative musical standpoint, evolving and doing things that you find interesting and exploring ideas that you find interesting.
100%, and that's my biggest problem with the CP, and we'll get into that later. But I totally agree. That is a challenge. That is a valid like challenge for a band like Anberlin, especially that's been around for a while.
This feels like I said, like classic, like Never Take Friendship Personal or Cities era, but with a little bit of that like major label sheen that they kind of got, that kind of made me drop off with them after. Like on the New Surrender, right, Josh, is the one that has the remake of Feel Good Drag. That feels super boring compared to the original. Maybe I just like a little more rough around the edges. Like we talked about that with like Are We All Forgotten with Paper Route. Yeah, Josh, go ahead and defend this song. Good luck.
Wow. Okay. Dang.
No pressure.
That's funny. Okay.
You're just coming off the high of the Larry Norman where we're like, we love this. This is the best record ever.
Everything I suggest you guys love. I suggested this one too. No.
Good luck.
No, this was okay because they released the first and the last song as singles early on, and I wasn't too crazy about them, so I went into this EP not expecting to really be into it, and then this song came on and I was like, oh, all right, I'm intrigued now. And then later on the record, that only magnifies.
Wow.
So I was like, all right, I think it does sound like classic Anberlin, but I think they're introducing a lot of new elements to it. Like I love the warpy, distorted drum sound in the verses. Like
there's a lot of like
production happening.
There's a lot of cool drum stuff going on through quite a bit of this EP. There's a lot of drum stuff I have problems with. We will get into, but
all right.
There's some cool, interesting drum glitchy, overblown kind of things that they do, which is cool.
Yes. So this isn't like I think this is like on the incline to be like, okay, they're going somewhere I think that's going to be really cool, but this isn't like my favorite song on the record, but I think it's like it starts taking us to a place that at least I really enjoyed.
Right.
Oh, I will say another great bridge. I really like the bridge of this one, how it really opens up and kind of gets like groovy. And then shout out to Dion. It starts with him like on bass.
There's some sweet bass on this.
He is pretty famous for playing a white Fender Jaguar bass.
Right.
I also have a white Fender Jaguar bass, so I gotta like.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason you like this EP.
Aesthetic instrument
I'm
choices.
like, wow. It's a rare bass until you're like, he's rocking that thing. Like, good for him, you know? Me and him.
Humble brag.
Yes,
well, I have a rare bass too. I did like this song. Even with being a little bored, I like it more than the middle part.
Ooh.
Yeah. Speaking of, I don't know if you guys can tell by the way I'm kind of shying away from the mic or my body language. Let's talk about track number 3. That was a TJ move right there. Body language.
Did this song title inspire the artwork, perhaps? Who knows?
Probably. That would make sense. I didn't put that connection together.
No, I think you're dead on.
I think when I played this on my phone, I just put a piece of tape over where the artwork was because I hated it.
A lot of effort to go to.
So this feels more in line with the, granted, not very much, but the Anberlin that I've listened to, like more of their later stuff. This feels more in line with the way they were kind of progressing from that. The real kind of like 80s inspired, like Phil Collins gated drums and the real simple synth lines and stuff, like that sort of like chuggy Tears for Fears kind of synth and stuff. This song is too long.
It is the longest on the record, on the EP.
Oh, I know. I'm very aware.
Said the guy who loved the 6-minute song from the last album.
But
we
that one
covered.
wasn't boring. That wasn't 6 minutes of boring. This is
No.
6 minutes of boring.
You don't
I
like
love
the
it.
groove and the mood of it?
No.
No.
No, Kylan, I was also
Stone
so
cold.
bored. I was so bored. It's like, I think you're right, Josh. I think there is like a connection between the album art and this track. It's kind of sexy. It's kind of reminiscent of like that
But it
80s
feels
pop
very 80s,
kind
yeah.
of thing.
Oh,
And-
very 80s.
And I was bored by that. It's like, let's let the 80s be the 80s. And that's something that like I'm not just critiquing Anberlin. Like I think that's a modern pop move. I think modern pop, like I was in Nashville working on my record last year, and all of the musicians down there are like doing this thing. Not all, but a lot of them. And I was so bored by it, to be honest.
Right.
And I think it's a wave that we're experiencing. I think it's like a phase of music that's like hearkening back to that. And I'm like, okay,
It's like not everything has to be Depeche Mode.
right.
There were other 80s bands.
That is true.
Speaking of Depeche Mode, the guitar line that comes in on the bridge is very, very reminiscent of Enjoy the Silence, which Anberlin also covered on their 2007 Lost Songs
They do
record.
like their, they
Nice.
do. They also cover The Promise on that, which I like their cover of The Promise.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Listening to it right now, I'm grooving with it a little more. I think I was just
Yes,
in
I
Larry
get
Norman
it.
mode this last week. You know, like I wasn't in the mood. And we've talked
Yeah.
about that, about how my opinions are changed. Like, I think if this record had
Sure.
hit me at a different time, maybe a week before and actually on the anniversary, I would have felt different. I think I was just feeling the like super 70s stuff. So when the like faux 80s kind of thing
Pseudo
came
80s
in, I was
happened.
like, yeah, don't.
It like hit you in a weird way.
Well, this is definitely a love letter to the 80s because we have the Depeche Mode, the line where he says, "Silence and love will tear us apart," which
Yes.
is a reference.
Joy Division. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. So I was like, okay, that's obviously on purpose.
And I get it.
But it also just made me want to just go listen to Joy Division.
Exactly. That's it. Like
That's
let's
the
just
problem with
go
a lot
the
of this. I think
original.
what TJ was saying too, like a lot of bands are doing this. It's like I feel like a lot of TV shows and stuff are doing that too, with like homages to like.
Why do we need to
80s and
regurgitate
stuff.
something that already happened?
That's a conversation. Yeah, that's a whole conversation for a different time. But it
But
does
we
just
can
make
state
me
it. We can
right.
state
Exactly.
it
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
That doesn't quite, for me personally, it doesn't quite fly with an EP from a band that is like a early aughts band in 2022. That's like a weird move.
Right. But also, like, I understand the hypocritical nature of this because yeah, I'm working on a directly 70s inspired country western record. So
And if you can commit to that, I can respect it. Just like I can respect this move, but I can't
Right.
appreciate it
I get that.
artistically. I'm like,
I don't know. Okay, but as I'm saying all this, Josh, I will say right now we're playing the song in the background as we're talking about it, and I'm like, I'm vibing on it. It's a good like background
It's got
song.
that, yeah,
it's got a
it's
good
got
groove
that in there.
I can feel that.
It's almost like I used to think of Anberlin as like an artistic band that I would be like, I really want to delve into this musically, and this music is like background party music that I can appreciate.
Right.
And those are two different things in my mind.
I wonder if I had just kind of had this on a couple times in the background, but I went straight in listening to it critically, and I, you know,
right.
I wonder
It's
how
a different
that
listening
sort of
experience.
affected. That's true.
So I definitely had it on the background, and I think it was way easier to kind of just get locked into that
Kind of
groove
get
and, like,
into
the
it.
melodies
Yeah,
and,
I didn't
like,
do that.
the
I went
synths are going
right in first time listening to it was like a few days ago, and went right in with like, okay, I'm taking notes, and then,
Same.
I think the song stands out a little bit in that it is very much like It feels like an anchor in. Yes, that is long. I love long songs. I'm notorious for it, so I'll stand by it.
Good for you, Joe.
It feels like an Anchor and Braille song, which is Stephen Christian's side project. Especially like his last two records have leaned very heavily on the electronic 80s,
80s
kind
pop.
of sound. Yes.
Okay,
But I think that this one is a little bit. And are there aspects of those that I like, but overall, like I'll get into them for a time, but then like they're not stuff I revisit. But I think having the musicianship and the talent of the rest of the band gives this enough support to make it like really work.
That makes sense. I get that. I like that.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I like that.
I really like it. It's
Cool.
this song. This is my second favorite on the record, but
Cool.
I really like this one. Just getting into it, digging into it. So
Sweet. I'm liking it more as we listen to it. I just, like I said, I'm not intentionally trying to be an asshole. I think there is something to be said about doing your first listen to this like critically, and it just didn't like. I just wasn't feeling the vibe when it came out. You know what I mean? Like if we talk about this again in like 6 months, I may like love it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
current context, you know, I not that any of you guys were asking, but for my opinion. But here's track number 4, Asking. TJ, you're falling behind. I know.
all over with the puns. Yeah.
I'm taking your job over here.
I like that you're taking over in that regard.
I don't.
It's a lot of fun to watch you do it.
I wrote, okay, Stranger Things.
Yeah. The first thing I wrote was ethereal synthetic elements. Whoa.
I wrote, is this vaporwave? I don't understand vaporwave because I'm old now.
Yeah.
This feels like what I would expect vaporwave to be.
I don't even know what that is. What is that?
This. It's like a subgenre, right? It's like
Yeah.
SoundCloud,
Oh, is
chill,
it?
It's
chill
yeah,
vibe,
It's like
electro.
modern 80s electronica.
Gotcha.
Vaporwave.
It's like lo-fi but 80s
Right.
style.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, like lo-fi
So out of it.
hip hop and rap to study and relax to.
Right. Chill vibes to study
Chill,
and
yeah.
relax to. But this is like a ballad though, which is interesting. It's like it is that and it's a kind of a ballad. I don't know. I was trying to figure it out the whole time and I don't know if I ever did.
So this is what ultimately I think kind of bummed me out about this EP. They do a good job of building this song, and it does like start to get kind of full band towards the end and stuff. But I feel like maybe because the last song was so long, I just personally have a problem with like I get so bummed out when bands have specifically like super good guitarists and super good drummers and then do super
They go, like,
boring
synth
electronic
pop.
songs.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
It like bums me
frustrating.
out. And
It's
like
frustrating.
it's like
I
you're
hate
not
it.
using everything you have, and because you can do electronic music, but like have guitar solos or
Yeah.
like bring in some more drum elements or something. But it
Yes.
just feels like a slap in the face of
It absolutely
like
is.
like
It's offensive.
that these elements don't feel important to whatever the ultimate creative vision is, and it's like, well, why? Are you...
And that's like I said, it's like it feels like they're caving to like not peer pressure, but like popular opinion. Like this is
Right.
what people like. This is what the kids like. So let's do this. And I'm not trying to project that onto
Well,
them,
it's
but
like
I'm wondering
it's
if
like
that's happening.
yeah,
I'm asking.
I don't know,
I'm
but
I
it's
don't
like
know.
you have someone like Nate Young.
Yeah.
And it feels
Yeah.
like on this record, it feels like using a Ferrari to solely drive your kid to daycare. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you have this powerhouse of a drummer who doesn't really get much of an opportunity to like do what he does and what I love for him to do. And, you know, maybe he's getting older, maybe he just doesn't want to do that, and that's valid. But
He's like,
I
I'm
get
retired,
that.
guys. Let the drum machine take over.
Yeah, like your knees hurt after a while, so like I get it, but
That's what I said later because just my overall thoughts of it. I was like, I miss Joey shredding. Like,
Right.
He's
Yeah.
like, obviously Nate is an amazing drummer, but Joey's also a phenomenal.
that's why I was saying like
guitarist
bring the
and,
guitar
like,
and the drums.
Yeah. Like
Agreed.
it's that is missing. I like what they're doing on this, but yeah, it almost feels like they're not in the band
Exactly.
for this record. It's like they made this
Exactly.
without them because they're like, where's Nate and Joey just letting loose like we know they
Right.
can.
Like it does feel like because of that, it feels, I mean, kind of like you said, like with the last song felt like an Anchor and Braille song.
Right.
It just feels like it
Like a
could be
solo
a Stephen Christian
project.
solo
Yep.
record. It doesn't feel like a cohesive Anberlin project to me.
Yeah. It's almost like the first two songs maybe, or even the first, like 1, 2, and 5 are.
Right.
And the other two are like fillers, like trying to create
Yeah,
an EP.
those feel more like Steven, like, oh,
To
I had
be
this
fair, though,
song
I'm looking
that-
at plays on Spotify, and tracks 3 and 4 have way less
Because they're doing that like
than everything else.
different thing. Yeah.
Let me tell you, tracks 3 and 4, those are all plays from me. From the songs. Because track 4 is my favorite on this EP.
Interesting. Okay.
I
Cool.
love it.
Cool.
So
Yes,
you're a big
no.
vaporwave fan, huh?
I guess I am. I discovered that today.
You're studying and relaxing all day, Josh.
I am. But just, yeah, I love how groovy it is. How many times have I said that word on this episode?
Groovy,
I don't
babe.
have the words for it, but the way that it builds in like the last minute and a half
build
of
is
this
cool.
song
It is pretty cool.
So good. Though, it's just so satisfying.
does feel
and
like-
that's where Nate like comes out. Like, oh, there's Nate.
Yes, he finally shows up. Agreed.
Yes.
This feels like a good final track on a full record, like a full Anberlin record. I can see this.
Yeah, it'd be a great
Yes.
closer for a full album. Yeah, I did like the crunchy bass, like saw synth thing that shows up at that point. That was really cool. It fills out the sound, kind of holds the low end down.
Yeah. So whenever I first listened to this EP, I was like, first track, okay, that's fine, whatever. I heard it as what I expected. Second track, I'm like, oh, they're going somewhere cool with this. And then like, it's all the ramp ups. Like third track, I was like, oh, I'm digging this too. I like that they brought it down, but it's really going good. And then like track 4 just like even takes it higher. So
Yeah.
I was all for it. I love track 3, especially going track 3 into track 4, which is my favorite. So
I'm
this is
glad
great. I love that
someone
we're
does.
getting such different opinions on this. But also, I think that speaks to probably like we also talked about like we kind of fell off with Anberlin.
Anberlin at different places. Yeah.
At different
Yeah,
places.
yeah,
But
true.
I came back with Anberlin at their 2012 album. That one won me back.
Right,
And so
right.
then
That
so
is a
that one
difference.
and then Lowborn. Lowborn's kind of hit or miss, but the sonic route they decided to take for this EP is directly following what they started with Vital in 2012 and Lowborn in 2014. So like I got one back with that sound in 2012. So
Right.
Oh,
that
cool.
makes sense that I'm more.
Well, that's what I was
into
kind
it,
of saying, the
guess.
kind of like 80s synth kind of thing. Like, I haven't listened to much of the newer Anberlin, but I've watched a couple music videos, heard a couple singles, things like that. And this seems kind of more in line with the progression of
Yeah.
the band from that era,
Right.
which is, I was kind of thrown off because of tracks 1 and 2.
Which it'll be interesting to see, since this is just an EP, like, is this the direction they're going? Or is
They
this
do
like,
like a full album.
Just kind of get this out and then
yes, and then go somewhere new as a band for their next full length or something like that.
Who knows?
So.
Yeah.
yeah, but guys, at this point, I feel like we're just talking and talking in circles. So let's just go ahead and move on to track number 5, Circles.
Wow.
Uh,
Have you
to
done
be
it for
fair-
every one on this?
Except the first one, I think.
Oh, okay.
I'm just giving you all kinds of space.
I don't know. These have been like pretty well set up for it. It's
Yeah.
been pretty easy to do it. So here we go. Last track, Circles. I forgot to write notes.
Stream of conscious, go.
I'll say the production on this to me is my favorite. It's very lush. It's very full. There's a lot going on. Super interesting.
Also feels like Stranger Things to me.
That's true. Especially the beginning.
Everything feels like Stranger Things now after.
That's true. I haven't watched season 4 yet, by the way.
You haven't?
Oh, you
No.
gotta see it.
Ooh.
Gotta see it.
I know.
But yeah, I thought the production on this was, in my opinion, this was the best production on the whole EP.
Okay.
I think I can get behind that.
There's so much happening. There's like that low robotic vocal double. There's the children's vocals.
This was released as a single. They have a music video for this, right? This is the one they did the music video for?
Maybe it is, but It was their second single, and this was the
Right.
one that really ushered in, like, oh, we're dropping an EP.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's the right choice for that move. Like it's very bold. It's a bold song.
Yeah, I think you're right with that production, TJ. I think on some of Two Graves, I don't feel like it didn't hit hard enough for
No.
what I was wanting production wise, but I think this one does. It hits in all the right places where it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The drum and riff hits on
super good.
It's like 115 or something. It's really groovy. There's like a lot of catchy riffs that happen like in between, like little melodic ideas that happen in between sections that I really like. There's a descending piano line that's really nice. I don't know. There's a lot to love about this song.
That's true. I don't, but I'm glad that there is a lot
Ooh.
too. No, I'm teasing. I do like this song a lot. I'm getting tired and hungry. Jewish Ant is about to come out.
I will say this song reminded me of Emery. This feels like The
Okay.
Question or like I'm Just a Man era Emery. Like if you
Interesting.
replace the vocalist, I feel like this song could have been an Emery song in a good way. Like that's like
Right. I could see like especially some of those low hitting like
Yeah.
I could see that.
yeah.
So this is a vaporwave thrice Emery B-side EP.
Totally.
Well, and they kind of borrow from, like, I feel like that trope in rap now where you do like the random like lower pitched vocals like in your verses or like
Oh, yeah.
stuff. Like they do mix that in a little bit. Like it's not like
Yeah.
it's mixed in with Steven's voice. So he's like saying a line in that lower octave voice, says it with him as well. I'm assuming it's his voice pitched down or whatever. So it's like I feel like they're borrowing from that, which at first I kind of like chuckled at, but I'm like I like it for what
I think it
adds
works.
sonically.
I think it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah, I would love to talk about that if we don't mind taking a little tangent. Who did that first, genre wise? Like not specific artist, but like
Like the low
because
low pitch down.
yes, because to my awareness that was like a weird like a weird indie rock thing. Like there were all these like indie rock bands that were doing that
Really?
before I understood that rap was doing that. But that's because my awareness of rap is limited.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but can you name any specific?
So I think the Killers did that. I think Matt and Kim did that at one point, which maybe they were vibing on rap because I feel like they're kind of like.
I
the
think it
indie
was in
rock
the hip hop world
hip-hop.
before because you had like
Totally.
Amelie from Lil Wayne's. What is that? The Carter 3. Which I think was. I mean
When was
that
that?
was like 2005, 2006.
Okay, so I
Maybe.
could predate. I feel like Arcade Fire did that a little bit on like Neon Bible, which that was 07.
I didn't know that was a thing in the indie world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've always associated that idea with bands like that. Like Yesayer really popularized that for me personally.
Right.
And I love the way they utilize that effect. A lot of my production choices with my music has been informed by them and like Arcade Fire and Phoebe Bridgers,
I think it was all kind of concurrent.
Bright
man.
Eyes. Bright Eyes did a lot
Right.
of that early on. Like Casadega.
I think it was all right. I think it was all kind of concurrent, man. I think because you know what?
I'm really
think it
curious
ki-
about that.
I
That's
think
why
it kind of
asked.
coincides less with genre and more with the availability of digital
Production
recording.
technology. Yes.
You know, like
Agreed.
being able to like finally rather because if you think about it, having to do that on tape of like
really tricky.
to do it to pitch down on tape, you have to slow down the speed at which it's played. So then you have to like think about figuring out timing of like
How to
how
edit that
you have to like
back
sing
to
it
the
faster
speed, yeah.
specifically for a take like that. Whereas with like Pro Tools or Ableton Live, you can just literally like transpose down and keep
Sure.
timing, you know? So I think maybe it was less genre and more digital recording technology
Right.
evolving.
I know we don't have an answer for it, but I'm just so curious as to like who's the first person to be like, I'm gonna do this, and then it became sort of like a noted,
Right.
popularized concept in their song or
No, it was
that
Jumpin'
genre,
Joe
like-
Jackson in 1986 in the
Got it.
song Dreamin' Big, Girls Fine.
Thank you,
No problem.
Callan.
1986, I do know that is when the Smiths on Big Mouth Strikes Again did the pitched up vocals.
Hey,
But
there you
I
go.
don't know anything about who did the first pitched down vocals. Not that I'm saying the Smiths
The
did
Jones.
the first pitched up.
It was the
but-
Jones.
Oh, the Smiths and the
Smiths
Jones
went
are
up.
always trying to keep up with each other.
Guys, do you know what a cashew looks like?
No, I loved that. I thought it was.
I think that's
a really
cool.
cool
I do
No,
think
I
that's really
enjoyed that.
cool.
on this song.
I just don't have much more to contribute.
And I like the
I'm running
little
out of
tangent
steam.
you took us down, DJ.
I did.
Thanks.
I did enjoy it.
I thought it was relevant.
But then I gave my Jumpin' Joe Jackson thing, and I think that's my cue to leave. I quit, guys. Oh, hey, I didn't quit in the Larry Norman episode.
First one.
I was too goddamn excited about that record. I couldn't quit after that. But now, after this EP,
You can quit.
I think I'm busy next week.
We'll see you later, man. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah. Okay. I think it was a flop for me. But I'm going to give it another chance. That's the thing. I think I'm going to put it on the car a couple times. I'm going to give it the time and space I think it deserves, because there is some really cool production stuff on there.
Nice.
And I'll let you guys know maybe at a later date if my mind changes. I respect Anberlin enough to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not just like I hope that comes across, and I'm not just like, this sucks, it's a flop. Like, there's enough there. And like, I think there's enough interesting stuff there with the record.
And you respect them enough to be like, if you guys are doing this, there's probably a good reason why you're doing this.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's the thing. I think maybe
it
I
just
don't
didn't hit me.
I don't
Yeah.
understand all the choices, but then again, I don't have to. You know what I mean? So we'll see if they come out. Like, we'll definitely cover a new album if they do a new album, and I'm really curious to see kind of where they go.
I'll go ahead and weigh in. This EP flops for me because, like I told you all in the Cities episode, I kind of fell off with them after Never Take Friendship Personal. A band for me that I was really mostly into through 2005, 2006, and then I kind of stopped listening to them. It's hard for me to get back into them for an EP
Right.
in 2022. So it's not personal. You know, we were never friends, Anberlin, but I hope you don't take it personal.
Hey.
But that's not to say that it's not a cool EP. I really do like that last track. Circles is
For
cool.
sure. Would the
I
last
appreciate
track,
that one.
you think, sort of be the Silverlining
That would be the
of the
silver
EP?
lining, and not to talk in circles, but I did really like it. So I could bop that song.
Yep. So Josh, unless you flop it, that's two flop graves for the Silverline EP.
Let's not get too physical about it. You know?
I mean, I'm just thinking about my assessment, and now I'm thinking, I'm asking myself, did I take this too far? You know, do I need to take it easy? I'll go easy on you, guys.
All right, okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
I don't know. The margin between that is paper thin.
Well, maybe you just wish me Godspeed and send me on my way.
Yeah, look, we all come from different backgrounds, different cities. That's fine.
All right, Fiend.
All right. Well, I'm going to dismantle y'all's assessment of this record and
All right,
repair it.
Did it?
into-
Okay. I'm just now realizing though, the cities episode was our most pun heavy episode.
It was a punniest episode.
So okay,
date.
I like that we're keeping that going. All right, sorry, I didn't mean
Anberlin's
to.
puns. Wow, I was building up great there, and, and
I know.
it's fine.
I'm sorry.
Let's do it again. As I was saying, I'm going to dismantle y'all's flops and repair them into bops. And I think the thing with me is I went into this EP going in with kind of low expectations, being like, I don't know, I wasn't too crazy about the singles, and I'll just throw it on just to see. And I don't know. I started just in very passive listening, so maybe that's the key here. Just
That's what I'm
getting into
saying.
the
Yeah.
groove.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But yeah, the first two singles didn't really wow me, but then all the middle stuff that y'all hated, I really liked. So
Interesting.
Cool.
I think that's just probably depending on what you got into and out of with Anberlin in their career. So
I mean, hello, you're alone in that, but I'm glad.
dang, that was good.
No, that's right.
It's fine. I'll be a self-starter if I have to be. Stranger things have happened.
Oh my god. Oh my God. Well, I need to go take a feel good drag of cigarette.
You need to take a cashew poop.
Audrey, start the revolution. I'm out. This has been Church Jams Now. Thanks for joining us on this journey. I forgot the word journey for a second. Yeah, thank you guys so much. We will see you next time. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram, Church Jams Now. We also have a Patreon, patreon.com/Church Jams Now podcast, where we're doing more deep dives into other stuff. Currently, we've got all three of us our origin stories, our superhero or villain origin stories, just where we kind of interview each other and talk about what's up. So if there's nothing else from all of us here at the CJN crew, may all your favorite bands stay together. Peace out,
Peace out, my prayers.
And if they don't stay together, may they go on a farewell tour, swear they'll never come back together, and then a few years later,
Immediately.
get back together, tour again, do some live stuff,
back
and
on.
then come back with an EP signed to Equal Vision.
At this point, with all the like label changing and farewell tours, there's just been so much time and confusion. I just like don't even know what to think anymore.
so good.
All right, I'm done.